This video is going to show the disassembly of the screen to replace the screen, as well as to actually change out the battery. I'll break it into three parts, so if you're doing just a screen replacement, you'll just follow parts 1 and 3. Part 2 will be the battery replacement itself. You can see that the LCD is still fully functional on this, but you can definitely see that the glass is shattered. We're going to use this little tile suction cup. We'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a couple of pry tools, to get started on here and see if we can't pull some of this glass off. Usually if it's shattered, using a nice flat spudger can help out. We got tweezers here if we need to pull off any adhesive on the inside of the device. And of course we'll be needing our heat source. We'll be using a heat gun. This is actually a hot air soldering iron. You can use a heat gun as well. Both will work. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to heat up the edge all the way around the glass. It's adhered. You can use this infrared thermometer if you want to. If you don't want to get it hotter than about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't want to damage your LCD underneath, so you can use that if you need to. Really the goal is just to get it nice and warm so we can soften the double-sided adhesive up to remove the glass off of the iPad. Normally if it gets right to the point where it's almost too hot to touch, that's where you want the glass to be warm to. So we're just going to go around the edge here, get it nice and warm. Just working our way around the sides. Now this does have a plastic bezel that's next to the glass as well as the metal frame, that if you get it too hot it'll basically melt and just warp, and when you try to pry the screen off of the metal body. So you want to be careful of that when you're using your tools. That's why I like to use this tile suction cup. I actually won't need to. This screen glass right here in the corner is pulling right up for us. We're just going to see if we can't use this tile suction cup to get it to go up a little bit further. You can see it's just already starting to separate because it's so shattered, it looks like, that doesn't have a whole lot of adhesive properties left. So it's going to work our tool around the sides here. Now right here at the top there's a metal prong for the camera. So you may feel a little bit of resistance right here, and that's okay. You just want to go around it. We're going to use this thicker guitar pick here to hold the glass off of the frame. We don't want our work that we've done to loosen it to go ahead and basically pull it back to where it was. Now we're just going to take our guitar pick and work down the side here and start to loosen the glass. When it starts to shatter, that's where it gets kind of tricky. We're going to warm it up a little bit more right here. You can't pull the glass off in one fell swoop. Normally you have to pick and pull each little piece of glass off. Unfortunately, to kind of remove this portion, since it's going to be the hardest spot, we'll do that next. This glass definitely has some shatter points in it. So using our pick to go down, you can see they're making a lot better progress now that we've warmed it back up. You can pull the big chunks off. And if you can get the adhesive, you see the strip, kind of like the double-sided tape right there. If you can get a strip of that going underneath, that'll help you pull off a large amount of the glass. See how I'm using that flat spudger to pull up all that shatter point right there? That is the easiest way to do it, rather than trying to use a pick and go around the side. You want to make sure that you're going to try to do this, you do it nice when it's nice and warm. Start down this opposite side here. You want to be careful right here. There's a ribbon cable for the glass if you're looking to save your glass as well. You can see the metal little piece in here where it's got the prong for the camera. We're going to warm up this opposite side here, see if we can get started down this direction as well. Get it nice and warm. Now, if you are using plastic pry tools, they will tend to melt. So if you're having one holding this display up, you'll want to use a separate one or a new one to go ahead and loosen the adhesive on that side. Just take our guitar pick and run it down. Normally it's a little bit more difficult than this one. This glass isn't adhered very well. Right here at the bottoms you want to be careful as well. You'll see that there's two Wi-Fi or antennas down here that are kind of built into the bottom portion of the pad. It's not too drastic. If you feel resistance, you'd want to stop and take a look at it. If not, then you should be fine. Heat up the bottom here, and we're just going to fold it open like a book. Let's get it nice and warm. Like I was saying, be careful of the plastic bezel that runs around the iPad. You can actually buy them for pretty cheap, a couple of dollars, and you could put the new one in. It definitely adds a nice finishing touch to it if you have any warping or any issues with that. A lot of times when you shatter your glass, you'll chip it, and you can replace that and make it look almost brand new. So we're just using our pick and we're just moving it side to side to pry the adhesive up a little bit. We can go ahead and tilt the glass open. You can see the ribbon cable right here at the bottom for the home button, as well as the ribbon cable for the digitizer glass there as well. My camera wasn't focusing there. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the home button. This way we can go ahead and remove the glass and the LCD off. Just trying to pry against it and see if we can't get it to pull up. There we go. The glass is still pretty warm, which is why that peeled off for me. You also have the home button inside of it. You want to make sure you retain the home button if your new display didn't come with one. You can set that aside. Now we can't remove our glass yet as the ribbon cable runs underneath the LCD. So we're going to undo 4 screws. One in each corner of the LCD that's below the glass here. Here's our second screw. These are just little Phillips screwdriver head screws. Usually I think they're 00. One more to go. It's kind of underneath a little bit of adhesive here. Now I can go ahead and pull the LCD up. We're just going to take it and we're going to tilt it just a little bit to the side. And that'll reveal our ribbon cable connectors just right below. Now the first one that we're going to undo is the one for the display here. So we're going to use a pair of tweezers to kind of pull this cable up just a little bit. Really the goal of using the tweezers is we need to pull some tape off of these connectors. The one that I'm working with right now is the one that's for the glass. Let's see if we can't get this started with the tweezers here real fast. Sometimes the tape's stuck on there very well. You may have to use a plastic pry tool to get the tape up. So I just flipped up the little flip-up connector here for the LCD cable to come out. You pull on the black back side of it, pull it up, and that'll release the cable from its mount. Let's pull that little adhesive off. Wiggle our cable free. That allows us to go ahead and take the display and set it aside so we don't damage it or get it dirty. The next step is to go ahead and remove the cable for the glass, which is just right below it. See if we can go ahead and just pry the cable out here real fast. It's sunk back into the shell of the LCD. I'm just going to pull it up. It does have a little bit of an adhesive property behind it. I'm just going to remove the sticker here that holds this down. Does not want to come off, so we're just going to try to pick it out a little bit more. Get it started. There we go. Now I can go ahead and pull the cable out. We're just going to latch up both black sides of the connector, just like we did on the LCD above. And that'll allow us to go ahead and remove the ribbon cable. Let me get rid of that cruddy glass here. Just going to pull up and let's get this in the trash. We do want to save this piece of metal here, this camera mount that I was talking about. Basically, it centers your camera for you on the glass to make sure that if you drop it or anything crazy happens to your iPad, that nothing will happen to your pictures. We're just going to give it a little bit of heat since it is stuck on with some adhesive. See, that's definitely nice and warm as it's melting that tape there. Get it nice and hot so we don't have any problems pulling it off. I'm not worried about damaging this glass at all. Now, if you're just using your old display and you're watching this for the battery replacement, you don't need to take the home button out or this little camera display off. You do need to unhook the home button ribbon cable from the glass. So using our metal spudger there, we'll go ahead and just pull that right off. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Alright, the next step in this process is just to go ahead and clean up basically the housing of the iPad using our pry tool to go down the sides of the device and clean all the glass and all the tape off of it. Just work our way down. You don't want any residue on the display. You don't want anything that's going to make it stand out. So a lot of times people leave little shards of glass on it, and you'll hear it crunch when you start to press in that direction, which is definitely not a good quality display change. Make sure you get all the residue out of the interior of the device. Use my spudger and working it down, getting all the glass out. Alright, give it a little bit more heat if you run into problems where it gets really sticky. I'm going to use a little bit more here. Work our spudger down. We're almost done with all the glass here. Be careful not to cut yourself. It can be pretty sharp. Alright, it's looking good. If you want to look in the description down below, have the different parts that you're looking for. If you just want to see the replacement of the screen, go ahead and just skip to part 3. If you wanted to see the battery, hit part 2. If you found the video helpful, hit the like button. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comment. And if you want to see any future videos, just go ahead and subscribe to me. I release a couple every week. As always, thanks for watching.